Alright, Keith. This is Keithquenacho with the color rings without any of the repaired holes. So I see you got the taper thing going. Alright. So let's just take a look at the first octave and then the second octave. First octave. Perfecto. And you got the taper. So unlike most Keithnachos, you have that in tune D. Open, close. Perfecto. Most of them don't do that. Pardon me, young man. It's morning, and I just had my tea, and I'm in one of my practice places. I'm in a parking lot of a Chinese mall under a Vietnamese restaurant that keeps burning down, and they keep having to fix it, and all these Chinese people keep passing me and looking at me as if I was from Mars, or they come up to me and ask me about my flutes. I hate practicing in the house, and it's nice and shady here, and it's right across from the bakery where I solve all the world's problems with all the old men, and we drink tea. Alright. First octave sounds in tune. I didn't put it to a tuner, but I can hear. The second octave, we again have some problems. All right, but tone and that low D, man, listen to that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's talk about the second octave. All right, one note at a time. B right there. It starts to get a little hairy here, but then it goes out on the top octave. I can get it if I run up to it, but if I just try to hit it, it's hard. Now, if I close these two holes, I can get it. All right. And the octave I can get, but I can't get it open like I can on a smaller Keithquenacho. Okay, so that's what it does. Now, the rest is all speculation. The taper is beautiful, but you definitely still have a pretty big bore ratio here. And I suspect that the problem is the finger holes may be still be too small for this big of a bore, unfortunately, because I know you're trying to make it ergonomic, since I'm always complaining about big Keithquenachos, which I have to deal with. But finger holes the size of this wouldn't really be a problem. And even though I can play this with the tips of my finger, I always play Keithquenacho like this. I'd prefer this, but I have a feeling that whenever you have small holes, this is not physics, this is just from my experience, they make the flute darker and the range higher, and it cuts off the ability, I don't know, for venting through the holes. I don't know. I just know that the upper range is more difficult on Kenas that have small holes. Even, but a Shao has small holes, but it has a very narrow bore and a very narrow notch. And the other thing is the wide notch always makes it harder to play the upper octave, because again, you have wider, it's wider, so you have to fill more volume, and you really got to blow. Now I can figure out how to do this probably with some back pressure. But when I'm playing and going along, I don't really want to think about how I got to change back pressure or change embouchure. So the small holes are definitely taking some volume away, and I suspect that the problem with the upper range might, I don't know, I ain't no physics genius, be resolved, and I'm including that the thumb hole might be resolved if you open the holes a little bit. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't understand the small hole, big hole thing. But I know, but I think you have room to open these holes a little bit. Otherwise, it's a perfect Keithquenacho up until the A. A little flat. The A's a little flat. All right, so we got D. Perfect in tune, octave. Perfect in tune. A little stuffy. It feels, and it's always out on all my flutes. I'm always opening this bottom hole and undercutting it, so it has less resistance. But it's not a big deal. It's good. This is a good note. Perfect. Alright, now we'll go up to the A. A little flat. Sounds flat to my ear. And then again the B. So, let's just look at this one, which has the one with the black, which has an even more. You I don't know how you did this, but you made it a really intense, what do you call it? Brain freeze. Taper. You had a taper. And I'm wondering, so this flute is probably right on with that octave. Perfect. I probably don't have a Keithquenacho that does that. And this is one where you change the holes. Hey, that's more in tune than the other one. Yeah, that's a little more tight, a tad more flat. And this one with the taper. I think I have a tuner. Man, I'm sorry. I should have figured this all out before I turned on the camera. I don't know where my tuner is. To my ear, it sounds much better. My recorder's messing up. Hold on. There ain't gonna be no editing. You're gonna have to endure this long-ass evaluation. Since the camera has a bad microphone, I'm using my Zoom. I'll just put them together. I think I had it too loud. Hello. And now all these Chinese people passing by, seeing what I'm doing. Very curious people. They like to touch your flutes. They like to pick up your flutes and touch them. Some of them don't understand your property, my property. Keith, I'm gonna have to find my tuner. Go get a drink. You can fast forward this video later. Because it sounds a little flat still. But I don't have perfect pitch. And if I didn't take my tuner... Now there it is. Alright. We're in business. I got a tuner. Strawberry Vapor Man. Yummy breakfast. You know, when I'm doing this and I'm just playing, sometimes the old ladies just stick dollar bills in my bag. And then I tell them that I'm not trying to make money. So the other day, I had all my equipment and my amplifiers, because I went in the city to play, and I set up out here my equipment and I started playing, and in 3 hours I made $100. Called entrepreneurship. My wife never complains if I bring home $100 for sitting in a parking lot. Alright, I'm yapping, distracted, and I'm looking for my tuner on my contraption. Fast forward. Alright. Some Chinese guy almost walked into my camera. Let me get the right flute. The black one, back to the black one with the two. G, perfect. Yeah, it goes flat. And if I cover up the bottom holes, it goes too sharp. Really not that... Yeah, thank you. It's really not that bad, the A, but the B I think is going to be a little... Shit. That B is on if I close the bottom holes. This one's not gonna make it, the rainbow. Would you? Both of them can be put in tune if you use cross fingering. You couldn't do that with the other ones. Holy shit. No, that's not going to work. Not on these Keithquenachos. I can do that on a narrow Keithquenacho. Alright, let's see if we can bring this to a summary. They're much superior to the other ones. Lower octave is perfect. It starts to get a little out of tune as we get to the A and up. On this one, with the color, it's not that bad. Matter of fact, it's just probably as good as... I can get it perfectly in tune if I use cross fingering. Keep these down below, which people... So I don't know. So the way we correct that is my guess. I'm guessing bigger holes, and the notches still feel too big to me. You still like to... You still like to do that thing with the flare, which is... I don't know. You work harder. You definitely have to work harder with a bigger notch. I have a Kenna that I got from Angel, and I got to work my ass off. But it's got a beautiful sound. The bigger notch can give it a more of that shakuhachi sound. The black one again. Alright, now with comparing them in another way, this feels a little bit more darker and rounder because the holes are, because it's smaller. You got a smaller hole here and more taper. It's negligible. No, they both have a little different sound, but really no one's gonna know the difference. Anyway, from the parking lot of the Chinese U.S. supermarket China in Elmhurst, New York.